Good morning, my dear students. I hope you all are fine at home. And today we shall discuss the poetry Chivvy by Michael Razin. This poem is about kids. It's about you. It's about elders going ahead and telling you not to do certain things. Or maybe scolding you, making you remember actions or things that may go ahead and prove wrong in future. Now, students, have you ever imagined why do our elders go ahead and explain things to us over and over again? Students, there are certain reasons behind elders going ahead and correcting us from time to time. Now, before we get into the poem, let us understand the meaning of the word Chivvy. Now, Chivvy means to nag. Now, what does to nag means? To nag means to continuously say something to someone in an irritated way. Okay? To say or to continuously urge someone to do something often in an annoying way. In an annoying means in an irritating way. That is the meaning of Chivvy. To nag. Your parents, they at times they nag at you. When they tell you to not to do certain things and you keep on doing those things, then it is the time when they start nagging. Nagging meaning they keep on telling you certain things over and over again so that you would finally understand what to do and what not to do. That is the meaning of Chivvy, meaning to nag. Okay? Now, before we get into the poem, let us quickly read out the introduction or the lines above the poem. Ask yourself as well as your partner, do you like to be always told what to do or not to do? Now discuss this with your cousins, with your brothers, with your friends in the neighborhood, that do you like always, or do you like to be always told what to do or what not to do? Do you like being corrected at all times, or do you often do things on your own, or do you often do correct things on your own? So now there is this box given there. When Michael was 5 years old, his mother took him to a nearby school for admission. The teacher asked, "What does your mother call you at home, child?" "Michael, don't," came the confident reply. Note, to Chivvy is to nag, to continuously urge someone to do something, often in an annoying way. Annoying means in an irritating way, according to the dictionary. Now, this meaning is according to the dictionary. Okay, now let's get into the poem. Grown-ups say things like, speak up, don't talk with your mouth full, don't stare, don't point, don't pick your nose. Coming back to the very first line, grown-ups meaning elders or parents. What do our parents tell us? Parents say things like, speak up. Now, when we remain silent, or when we rather don't speak, so they are like, speak up, open your mouth and speak. But at the same time, they contradict this statement, and then they say, don't talk with your mouth full. In the first two lines, they tell us to speak, and then when we actually speak, then they tell us, don't talk with your mouth full. Mouth full means while you are eating. Mouth full meaning while you are eating. So the child or the poet is drawing a contradiction over here. He says that when we are quiet or when we don't speak, our parents tell us to speak. And when we learn to speak and when we are speaking, then they say, don't talk with your mouth full. Keep quiet while eating. And then they say things like, don't stare. Don't stare means don't look at something constantly. Don't point your finger. Don't point means don't point out your finger on anything. And then they say, don't pick your nose. And then they say, don't pick your nose. Stop picking your nose, meaning inserting your finger into your nose. Stop doing that. That's not good. That's not a sign of mannerism. Okay? Again, we'll read this paragraph out. Grown-ups say things like, grown-up meaning elders or parents. They say things like, speak up. They tell us to speak. Don't talk with your mouth full. And then when we are actually speaking, they'll tell us not to talk while eating. Then they say, don't stare, don't point, and don't pick your nose. Pick your nose meaning don't insert your finger into your nose or in your nose. Okay, now moving on to the second paragraph. It says, sit up, say please, less noise, shut the door behind you, don't drag your feet. Haven't you got a hanky? Take your hands out of your pocket. So now, in the second paragraph, what do our elders or parents, they tell us to do? They say, sit up. Sit up meaning, sit straight. Sit with your backs straight. Sit properly. Say please. When you're requesting someone for something, when you're asking for a favor, when you're asking for a help, you should always say please. Can you do this for me? Okay? You should always say please, I need your help. Or can you help me out, please? Okay? You should always make less noise. You should not shout and talk. You should talk in a decent way. You should always make less noise. Shut the door behind you. You should remember to shut the door behind you whenever you are entering into a room. Don't drag your feet. Lift your feet and walk. You should always lift your feet and walk. You shouldn't drag your feet and walk. That creates an irritating sound or irritating noise rather. So you should always walk. You should always lift your feet and walk. You shouldn't drag your feet. Haven't you got a hanky? Now this is for what our parents check us most of the time, whether you're carrying a hanky or not. So you should always carry a hanky. Okay? So haven't you got a hanky? Take your hands out of the pocket. You should always take your hands out of the pocket, and especially when you're talking to someone. So you should always take your hands out of the pocket, especially when you're talking with someone. Okay? Because talking to someone with hands in the pocket shows arrogance, not a part of mannerism. It shows arrogance. Now students, I just want you to pay attention that this poem here in 7th standard is instilled as a part of mannerism and body language. So this poem basically teaches you mannerism and body language, which is very important for you, and especially while you are growing. Okay? Mannerism and body language is very extremely important for you. It helps you to become a better human being. Okay? And adults or grown-ups, they actually help us or help you all to learn things in a better way. Okay? So therefore this poem has been included in your syllabus to teach few aspects of mannerism and few facts about body language. Okay? Now getting to paragraph number 3. Pull your socks up. Stand up straight. Say thank you. Don't interrupt. No one thinks you're funny. Take your elbows off the table. So now here are a few more facts about mannerism. Okay, pull your socks up. So you should always wear your socks properly. Stand up straight. You shouldn't be standing with your backs bent. Okay, should be standing straight, back straight, shoulders straight. Say thank you. You should always say thank you, and that is an extremely important part of a conversation. So you should always say thank you whenever someone is helping you out, or whenever someone is gifting you something. You should always say a thank you. Don't interrupt. Shouldn't interfere while two people are talking, especially elders. You shouldn't interfere. Shouldn't interrupt them. No one thinks you are funny. Now what is the meaning of this line? That no one thinks you are funny. Now this line, or rather I would rather say, now this is the time to bring some change in your life. As you kids are, now is the time when you are actually growing up. You are able to understand between wrong and right. So this is the time to bring in some changes in your life. So you cannot afford to be funny at all times. You need to get serious about life. That is the meaning of this line. No one thinks you are funny means now people think that you are actually growing up and you are no more a kid. So you cannot afford to act funny at all times. You should learn to get serious. Take your elbows off the table. You shouldn't sit with your elbows on the table. They should be off the table. On to the last line. Can't you make your own mind up about things? This is a question that has been put forward. Now let us understand this line, these two lines. Now this is the most important line of the poem, perhaps being the last line. This is when the curiosity kicks in. The students of your age, they actually have too many questions. And often at times, the elders, they get frustrated out on the questions that you have. So what is the reply that you get? Can't you figure things out on your own? So you must have experienced this. After a certain point, when you have too many questions, your parents, they might get frustrated, or they might get frustrated out on you, and they might say, do this on your own. You should know how things are going on. You're 14 years old, and you should now start understanding what is wrong and what is right. So this is what poet is trying to point out, that after a certain point or after a certain limit, a parent say that do this on your own and do that on your own. Now the theme of the poem here is that every child should, at a certain age, should change himself. Now what is the theme of the poem? That at a certain age, every child should start inculcating these qualities of mannerism and body language. That every child should look forward to instill some qualities that make him independent. So every child should actually, start inculcating within himself a few of the qualities that will help him become independent.